Hello everyone, Lots Klaus here, and today we're gonna review some commoners from 2005, at least one commoners, and it's called the Shadowed One. So it's a famous character because of course it's the leader and co-founder of the Dark Hunter organization. The other co-founder was called Ancient, and it was in fact killed by the Shadowed One recently. So this fusion or commoner can be made with two Titan sets, Udaka and Kitango. And you can't have the two commoners because the first commoners was made with Cedarwak and Kitangu, and it was called Centrak, and you can't really make the two commoners in the same time because you will need some parts from Kitangu which are already put on Centrak. So in fact it's up to you to choose if you want to build the Shadowed One or the Centrak. So yes, excuse me if this stuff keep falling off, but it's really hard and you're gonna see why. So I'm gonna try to pause this one because also you're gonna see that it's quite hard, and that's one of the big drawbacks of the set. It's really hard to pause, but I have a little trick, so maybe I'm gonna use it for this review. Oh yeah, I think I'm just gonna pause him like that. So okay. So here we go, guys. So I don't mind if there are no 2K white ears, but of course it's supposed to be. But for example, if I just put it like that, it will keep falling off. So I'm going to try to make him stand for the entire review. So of course the color scheme this time is black, dark gray, and some silver color. So it's worked pretty well in fact. And that's all. So I think I'm gonna try to begin the review. So maybe I'm gonna put off the legs and stuff like that. It will be easier for me to show you how all this stuff works because it's quite interesting. In fact, all the overall design of these combiners is really interesting. The only problem, in fact, is with the possibility of the set. But we're gonna talk about that later, of course, in more details. So here we go. We've got all the tail part and the body part together. So in fact, the body frame is quite normal, if I can say so, because if you, I'm going maybe gonna just put this part off like that. So we're gonna begin with a vacuum pelvis white ears, add some technique beams which is banded. In fact, this banded technique beams right here, which will be useful to make this part right there. On this banded technique parts, we're gonna add this part right there, which will be useful to link the shoulder section. So the shoulder section are the same as the other Titan. So we're gonna use two banded technique beams and add some connectors on one side. You can also see some baroque shields right here, some baroque cal shields to make the shoulder more stronger and to make some armor right here, of course. And on this axle right here, because there are axle of 4, we're gonna add this two waxy head, and as you can clearly see, to make the main body shape, if I can say so. Because the body shape is not like it's all straight, as you can clearly see, it's banded on the front section, and these two parts really help to it really helps to, in fact, make the curves and stuff like that. So it really works pretty well, in fact. It's an interesting torso frame, an interesting design, apart from the fact that there is a kind of a big all white here, even if you try to put the... Oh no, it works pretty well, in fact, if you put the head. But in fact, you're not really supposed to put the heads like that. It's more like that, if you want him to look in front of him, excuse me. And it's not finished because, as you can see on this banded part right here, we're going to use this part, which will be useful to link the two connectors. And these connectors will be useful to link all the head part with the neck part. So the neck part is just made with a waxy leg white ears and some beeswax leg to add to the design, overall design. And then you have the head itself, which is kind of the Udaka head, but with some difference. So for example, you've got this part right here. I don't really know what it's supposed to be. Maybe... no, I just don't have any idea of what it can be. There's parts on the back. So yes, in fact, it's quite a well-detailed head, if you ask me. Hope you can see him in a good way. So of course, excuse me for the artificial light. And here we go, and you can bend it like that. And the second connector will be useful, in fact, to make the big tails part. So in fact, if you look clearly like this, it's for me it just looks like a dinosaur, or if I can say a Taiwanosaur, because seriously, look at this. It's really make a big tail part white hairs, and it goes white hair. So it really look like a dinosaur for me. And even if it's an interesting design idea, we'll see later that it kind of have its own problem. So anyway, we have the waxy leg right there. The Nordic neck part here, it's useful to make this part, which will be useful to link this part together, so like a triangle shape. And then finally we got another waxy leg right here, so Mobo Rider's head to add for the overall design. And finally the top of the, no, not really the top of the tail, but this side of the tail, which is made with one Nordica Metru foot, and there's two Robo Riders. Not Robo Riders, or excuse me, some robot foot, yes, excuse me, right here. And that's all, and this part can be turned in some way like that. And this part can be also turned in some other way. And I think that's quite all for this part, so we're gonna talk about the legs right now. So here we go, the legs are in fact pretty simple, they are from some Titan legs, so I can clearly see the feet are pretty simple because it's just some normal feet with a robot feet on it. Again, this part I think is the most interesting part because it's well designed. It's just another Titan type of legs in fact. So we're gonna use some two Titan connectors right there, link them together, and then add some parts to fill the hole. But it's worked pretty well on this part, and I think these legs are quite better than the central legs, apart from the feet, and we're gonna see why later. So we add these two parts on the pelvis section, right here, and then we're gonna talk about the two arms. So here the left arm, you can see that the hand is in fact well made because you have some kind of claws, which can be closed right here. And of course, the instruction for this model can be found in the Wudaka instruction booklet. You don't need the Kitongu one because the Kitongu one got some parts of the Centrac model. So here we go. And finally, the right arm, this time we've got some kind of not really a spear, but still. So as you can clearly see, this time these parts can move, but it's just useless in fact because they just turn too much. So in fact, you can't really pose them the way you want, so it's kind of loose. And the interesting part with this spear, if I can show, is the fact that the launcher is on it. So as you can see, you have the vertical launcher on there, and to launch it, in fact, you have to cut off this part. So the upper part of the spear. So it's really well done if you ask me, because I really like when Lego try to put their vertical launcher in a special way. So they have already done that with, for example, Wudaka, Sidawa, Kitongu, and also Ambua. And this time it was again an original way to add the vertical launcher to the overall model. And it's quite successful if you ask me, because it really looks like a spear. And then it's in two sections, and one section can be spot off to launch the vertical. So seriously, it's a very good idea in my opinion. Just the fact that, of course, the vertical kind of fall off really easily, so it kind of win this excellent design idea. And here we go, guys. We have finished the shallow head one. So I'm just making like that, so you can have. Oh yes, of course. Excuse me. So how the articulation works, we're gonna see that right now. So the arms are just two ball joints, and one is just one axis and a block at not even 90 degrees. So of course it's really limited on the arm section. Also you have this parts which can be turned, remember. The legs right now can be turned at 90 degrees and can go also this way. Also notice that the feet can't really turn on in front or back because The Titan connectors right here is put in this way, so this means it just can turn on this side, and we'll see later that it's not really a good idea in fact. The head have 3 points of articulation, so this one, but I think it's supposed to stay right here, and also this and this one, so it can look up, down, and in every direction. There is no problem for the head. Excuse me. And finally, we got the tail with 1 point of articulation and the other one on one axis. And that's all, guys. So, what are the drawbacks of this set? Because I've talked about the drawback from the start of this review. So, the drawback is this drawback. So, the fact is that the tail is too heavy in comparison to the body frame. This part is really heavy, so this means that it's really hard to pose and to make him stand in some pose because it will really fall. For example, even if I really try to, for example, put him in this pose, it will still falling off. So maybe if you buy a brand new Udaka and Kitongu, the articulation will not be as hard as mine. Maybe it will have more grip, I can say so. But I think that even with that, it's really hard to pose. And also the fact is that the feet are really hard to pose because you can't really make them like that because they can't turn more than this. So this means that, oh yes, no. So this just means that it's hard to turn, to pose. So maybe I got, oh yes, I think I got some pose right here, some dinosaur looking pose. Also, you have the fact that the Wotuka launcher keep falling off, which is really annoying. Or at least the Wotuka itself, not the Wotuka launcher, because the Wotuka launcher stands in a good way, but that's all. And also, yes, the fact that, so for me, the problem is that the tail is too heavy in comparison to the rest of the body, and also that the feet are really not well made, because I think if the feet have been heavier, in fact, heavier with more weight on it, it would have been really useful and maybe have maybe it could have been posed in a correct way, but with just this little feet, with weight nothing in comparison to this big tail, it's really, in fact, hard to pose him. And also, you can try to pose him using the tail, but this means, in fact, it's a tripod. So, for example, look, I can, for example, like this, is posing. I mean, it's standing, but it's just look plain weird because he's using his tail, so it's like it's a tripod or stuff like that. So seriously, what's the point of that? It's not really the amazing Titan or stuff like or interesting character, famous characters, and fearful leaders. No, it's just like it's a guy which use his tail to stand on which can just use his tail to be posed in a correct way. So that's all. I think that's the only drawback I've seen with this set, but that's really a big flaw design flaw, excuse me. Oh yes, I think I quite succeeded in doing a pose, guys. So I think I will stay. I will let it like that before it's fall off and. Oh, no. I'm maybe gonna try to add the Wotuka launchers, but yes, I think this was kind of doomed from the start. Oh yeah, guys. Oh yeah, it's a perfect pose to end because it's really hard to pose. But let me just adjust this. But if I can say so, if you even if it's hard to pose, you have to know that it's still an excellent commoner because the overall design is really great. And apart from some flaws, so for example, maybe excuse me, the neck is maybe too long, or also there is some flaws in the body and stuff like that. And of course, the feet, which are not are really simple, and it's also flaws on the posability section. But apart from that, the overall design is really good. All the dinosaur. The dinosaur look aspect of this common model really works well. Excuse me. Really works well, and the chest is really well made, the head also is all good, the spears, this weapon is kind of interesting, the arms, even if they kind of limited, are still well done with the little claws and stuff like that. The tail itself is pretty well made, in fact it's just too heavy, that's the problem. But apart from that, I think that the overall design is really, really good, so it's an excellent one. And in fact, I can advise you to build this one, but when you will finish building it, but you have to to accept, yes, accept. I don't know, not as the word, but you know that when you have finished, when you will, and I just lost my tense. So by the way, you just have to know that the posability is really bad on this model, or really it's really a model hard to pose, in fact. So you have to know that even if this really got an interesting overall design, really with interesting parts and little bits like that, which are really outstanding, apart from that, it still really fall off easily, so that's really a problem. So if you build it, I think I can also advise you to try to change him to make him more possible. So, for example, try to change your feet to make more heavy, to make heavier one, or I do not really know, but stuff like that. You see, to make him really perfect, because it could really have been perfect, but there was just a big flaws, which is a possibility. And for me, an action figure which is not really possible, it's a bad action figure. So in fact, even if it's really have an excellent overall design, it still has some big flaws on the possibility. So that's a shame, guys. But still, I hope you enjoyed this review and also this combiner. So of course, you can have your own opinion on this one. But of course, I really hope you have made your own opinion seeing this review, even if I say that's really bad on possibility and stuff like that. But as you know, I still find him really interesting. And yes, so hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and see you later for another Bionicle review. Bye.